Stand by for a transmission from DX Central. This broadcast is not a test. To confirm reception, please tune your radio to any AM or FM frequency and report your observations during this transmission. Again, this is not a test. Stand by for a transmission from DX Central. This broadcast is not a test. To confirm reception, please tune your radio to any AM or FM frequency and report your observations during this transmission. Again, this is not a test.
This is Radio Havana, Cuba.
DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. From the pages of its DX Monitor member bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AM/DX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AM/DXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
The Gulf South
to your corner of the world.
This is DX Central Live.
Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana, my friends. Good evening. Happy Friday to you. Hopefully you've had a great week of DX. I know we have here. It's been great. It's been outstanding. Looks like the chat's going, looking pretty good over there. You guys are having some fun. Turn the fan on. It's a little warm in here. The 50s outside, so not too bad. I know back up in North Carolina where the folks are at. Hey guys, they said it's been snowing today, so nothing like that here. So wherever you might find yourself and however you might find yourself this evening, hope it is a good one for you and you are cozy, safe, and by the warm glow of a radio or your computer-based radio, whatever it might be. We got some great stuff for you tonight. We're going to be looking back at our daytime challenge that we wrapped up last week at the end of a 2-week period where we were looking at daytime DX. We're going to be talking about the results from that. We're going to be looking forward to our next week of medium wave frequency challenge frequencies. Got a couple of frequencies on deck here for us that I think you guys are going to enjoy. And then we're going to wrap up what's been an absolutely barn burner of a week. I've had a blast DXing this week. I think you guys have too, because the results I'm seeing coming in are just, they're ridiculous. It's ridiculously awesome. It's fantastic. Let's see. Looks like you guys are good. Not seeing anybody say anything about my audio not working or anything, so that's good to hear. Did have one thing pop up this week that was interesting. Got this guy, came in from AliExpress. So let me see if I can turn it on here. This is a TEF 6686. It is a, I'm going the wrong way. Still getting used to all the buttons and the knobs and stuff. It is a small receiver. Okay, little. The chip apparently is the successor to the XDR F1HD Sony chip that everyone has always raved about for FMDX. So I haven't had a chance to test it on AM a whole lot yet, but I can tell you from FM standpoint,
cooling misters, Wi-Fi, Recharging stations for your.
So that's a station in New Orleans, WWOZ, on 90.7. And then if I break out this guy, my Sangean HDR16, let's see here if I can get this similarly to be received here. Sorry, I was way high on the band on that one. I probably should have gone the other way. I have found in my early, very preliminary testing that I've done so far that the TEF 6686 is pretty dang good. So there's what's supposed to be. Yeah, so it's at least comparable to the Sangean, but I'll tell you, in the testing that I've done, it's actually outperformed the Sangean. There have been times I basically set the two of them a little bit apart over on a table here in the living room, separate them a little bit, and then just kept tuning them the same frequency. And there were times where I could get on the Sangean, I could get the station in if I kind of moved the antenna around and kind of held my foot up in the air and kind of touched my nose kind of thing. On the TEF, I didn't have to do all that. It just kind of came in. And they would be equal signal strength, but the TEF just brought it in. So I have a lot of testing still yet to do on this thing. I got it from AliExpress. It was about just under $100. I think there's multiple models up at AliExpress. I think they have a touch screen now, and there's a stereo version of this. It has two speakers up down here, and then one that kind of looks like this is kind of the standard one. So I'll be doing some more testing on it for you FMDXers. I'm going to plug in my antenna to it, my outdoor antenna, see if it overloads it or anything. And yeah, you'll be hearing more from me on this sucker as time goes along. Just submitted a column to Ken over at Spectrum Monitor. So we'll have a AM column here coming up in the February edition of the Spectrum Monitor magazine. So if you're not yet a subscriber, you get basically with a year subscription, you get 12 issues for pretty cheap, actually. So I'll be putting up a link for that in the chat here in a bit, spectrummonitor.com. So you can go check it out and see a lot of great information on just radio in general. But I do pretty regularly, about once a quarter or so, I'll do an AM column as well. We've done things like our 10 countries you can try to hear from South America, North and South America. Did the shopping for a portable radio, things like that. This next one is it's one I typically get a lot of my ideas for videos and articles and things like that based on stuff that I see on social media, especially of questions that are coming up, people are asking. So that's where this one was born from. So be sure to look out for that here in February, which is just around the corner. Can't believe I'm saying that. February is going to be the next issue where we have an AM column in. And I'm also thinking about maybe doing a follow-up companion video to go along with that with some extra tidbits that aren't in the article. So stay tuned for that. All right, so we're going to be doing a lot of DX tonight. We don't have a highlight video because we didn't have a results to look at from last week from the Medium Wave Frequency Challenge. We're still in that first week of the new year. We do have some results to look at from the daytime challenge, but it's going to be quick and easy. So we're going to do a lot of DX tonight. We're sitting on our frequency challenge frequencies of the week, basically 940 and 981. So 940, 959, 69, 70, 980 here in the US. And I can tell you, it's been an absolute barn burner. Had a lot of fun with that this week, and it gave me a chance to do some work and some tweaks and some testing on my online logbook that we talked about last week. And I'm in love with this thing. I'm absolutely in love with it. As a matter of fact, I am looking at moving all of our medium wave frequency challenge weekly results to that same format. So we'll basically, what I'm looking at doing is putting up a website page like that for each week, and then we're going to have a page that has all the weeks kind of cumulative in there, so we can kind of look at that together and see how far Barry is in front of everybody else as far as how many stations he's logged this season. But yeah, we'll be able to look at all that together. So that's something I'll be working on a little bit this weekend, and probably the next week or two is going in, making a page for every single week we've done so far, and then making the one big one for the whole season as a whole that's going to be cumulative and be added to, that we'll look at each week. I haven't decided if I'm going to still do the highlight videos. Maybe. I think those are fun. But I'm just kind of looking. What I'm trying to do is find a way to make it as easy as possible to be able to do and present the results, but also at the same time give you guys the data and the stuff that you're used to seeing and that you like. Because I know a lot of you guys like to dive into the data like I do, so I want to still be able to give you that. This will allow me to do that, and also still, I think, make it a little bit easier. So more to come on that. But we're going to talk to some shout outs later on. I know you guys have been DXing like crazy this week. And so I think there's going to be quite a few shout outs to behold this week. Some logs are going to get solid, some fireworks. I got some fireworks this week. I got some fireworks to shoot up this week. Some passports that may be getting stamped. Maybe. We'll see. So hold on to those. We'll be getting to those here in just a few moments. I got my book ready to write those down, but I'll get to those here in just a few moments. We're about up on a top of the hour alert. That's right, top of the hour alert time. Of course, this hour of Live DX is brought to you by the National Radio Club. nationalradioclub.org is where you want to go. We got our usual assortment of SDRs going on tonight. We have our Perseus software, or Perseus SDR with the Jaguar software. I'll get that right one week. We got the AirSpy rocking this week with the Northeast Southwest CAS, and we still have the RSP-DX over here with the SDR Uno software and the twin W6 LVP loops. But we're going to start, as always, over here on the Perseus, and we're sitting at 980 right now. I've been doing a little haunting on 980. Just got Radio Coco for the first time out of Cuba. Let's see what else we got. We're on the North Wire. Let's go. Cheers, my friend. A little Captain and Coke this evening for us. To celebrate what's going to be for me a 3-day weekend. Lots of DX. Talk about a little antenna project I'll be working on this weekend too. Can't go upper sideband. We have a local on 990. Not yet, Barry. I haven't gotten Costa Rica yet. I've hunted a bit. Not yet. Still on my list. Especially when I get the wire swap back south again, which will be soon. But I am enjoying the north now. I'll talk about that here in a bit. My assumption here is I have KCAB up here in Arkansas that I'm hearing right now. Is that the answer? That's a very good question, Rick. Honduras, Costa Rica, let me see. This could be a little bit on the outstretch of the normal single hop E, I think, for me. Maybe. It's gonna be a little far for that. So maybe AM? Especially if I can get that one that Barry heard on 550. All right, let's go back here at the top of the hour again here on 980 and see if I can pull that out of what it was that we heard. See, I swear I'm hearing the answer in there. Let me go back one more time. Maybe not. I think that's one I'm gonna have to spend some more time on there. I haven't really done a lot of 980 yet this week, so we're gonna have to spend a little bit more time on that this evening as we go along. Let's go down to 970. I am pretty sure I know what I have here. Yeah, there's KSYL. Alexandria, 104.9. That's what I thought. So that's one that we hear quite often here on 970. Is that them with the Morse code? I think that's them. That's interesting. I have not noticed that before. I'll have to go back and check my other air checks I have in them, but I don't remember hearing that at the top of the hour with them. Let me do that one more time. That's a little fast for my ears. I was trying to see if I could just at least grab the S out of that. It was a little fast for my ears. Anybody more in tune to fast code? Able to see if that was actually, like, if that wasn't just gibberish? You know how that sometimes they'll just put gibberish in there? That sounded a lot like their signal, though, underneath the guy who was talking with the ID. That would be a great little tidbit for those of you trying to hear KSYL on 980, is if that is them, listen for the Morse code. That would be funny, Barry, if it was the chief engineer just throwing his own ham call sign in there to ID. Just to have the effect of the Morse code, but not expect anybody else out there to be able to pick it up. Yeah, that would be interesting. So, yeah, we'll try that again here in a little bit. 960, this is where I've been spending a lot of time. 960 and 950, I've been spending a lot of time on those two this week, and it has paid off. So let's go back here at the top of the hour on 960 and see what we got. Okay, that was Abbeville, Lafayette, KROF.
It's in the cloud on title lock. They lock down the title. Anything goes wrong, they fix it. Home title
There it was. That's been one of the dominant ones that I've had here this week. Although I had a very, very surprising and welcome visit this week from Rick One Up Your Way. KMA Shenandoah, Iowa made its way down here this week. First time I've heard them here. I last heard them when I was in Omaha, actually. And it was crazy because we were right at sunset. And KM maybe just before sunset here. And KMA was still in the daylight on their side too, obviously. And so it was a daylight path, obviously in gray line enhanced, but daylight path. But usually when we get gray line on that frequency, I've got KZIM, I've got WERC and Birmingham just duking it out. No sign of them. KMA took over. So that was a very welcome surprise. They were able to beat out KZIM, ERC, and KROF here in Abbeville to my west. Able to beat all three of them out, stand out on the frequency. Uploaded the air check on that one here yesterday, I think it was. So very happy to see them visit. Let's look at 950 real quick. I'm not going to do 940 because it's just my local WYLD. That's all I've got. We might try a little phasing here in a little bit and see if we can get rid of them, but it's not really a whole lot there. And there's Relo again. KPRC, KWS, and WAKM have kind of been dominant here this week for me on 950. WNTD in Chicago made a visit briefly, as did KJTV over here in Lubbock, which also was fun because this morning, that was 2 mornings ago. This morning I got KGKL in San Angelo. So West Texas making some appearances here for me this week with some new ones to put me up, I think, 94, 95 out of Texas now. Okay. So Relo is in there dominating, and they've been the other one on 950 that's been kind of dominant there for me. And I think a lot of folks, from what I've heard over the years, 950 is one of those Relo outlet frequencies that really gets out pretty well. So I would imagine most people, I haven't looked at the results yet, the submissions for this week yet, but I would imagine most everybody probably had a decent, at least on the eastern half of the U.S., had a decent shot at Relo there on 950. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to do some more live DX. We're going to briefly look at our daytime challenge results. We'll start looking for some shout outs in here. And yeah, we're going to just have some fun this week, guys, and finish up our 940 to 981 medium wave frequency challenge. So stay tuned. More live DX heading your way right here on DX Central Live.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. From the pages of its DX Monitor Member Bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AMDX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. Welcome, my friends. Glad to have you here with us on a wonderful Friday night. And after a great week of DX, we're going to get in the shout-outs here in a little bit, and I'm looking forward to sharing what we heard this week, because it was pretty awesome. And got some... not just new stuff, got some new stuff, right? Some new stuff. So we'll be sharing that here in a bit. So hold on to those shout outs. We'll get to your shout outs here in a few moments. Let's go ahead and take a look back, though, before we get too far in. And we're going to look back at our daytime challenge. Now, this is one we ran while we were taking a couple weeks off for the holidays. So it started there around the 15th. Was it the 15th? Yeah, I think it was 15th. When we would do our last episode of 2022, and then ran through January 2nd. So had a chance to do some data analysis this week on that. And rather than putting together a little video, and rather than typing up an article, I decided just to follow the lead of what I'm doing with my logbook. And we're going to look at this together here on our new webpage for the results. So the blog post actually should be up now. Actually, I'm sorry, we'll be up here the next hour. That has our new frequencies of the week and also has our link here to this results page. So if you go in here, once you put the blog post up, you'll see we have the entire logbook here sorted by DXer. And then sorted by, so it's DXer and then day and time of reception and then frequency, I think is what the sort values were, if I remember correctly. Let me refresh and see if that worked on that. Definitely by DXer though. Yeah, I think that looks about right. And then we scroll further down, you'll see here, let's start diving into what we had. We had a total of 29 states plus DC were heard. And you'll see Ohio was our most heard state at 64 logs from the state of Ohio. You can see all the states and the Canadian provinces that were heard here. So pretty good number for daytime, right? Remember, this is daytime. This is not skywave. This is not sunset, sunrise. This is 2 hours after local sunset or sunrise to 2 hours before local sunset. This is the time frame we're talking about here. So almost all of the main kind of Canadian provinces, definitely everything west of the Mississippi River, at least outside of Northwest Territories and all that kind of stuff, like the main ones here. So British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario all heard this during the daytime challenge, which was really cool. And you'll see there were some states that were missing in here. Mississippi, I feel bad about. I should have absolutely added that in there. I just didn't have a chance to do as much DX as I wanted to. But if I had of Mississippi would have been in there, and possibly even Arkansas. So that's my fault that Mississippi's not in there though. Would love to have added them in. Scrolling down further, and we see our logs by state as far as a map goes. You can see here Ohio and Washington were our two most prominent states, and you'll see why here in a few moments. Georgia and Illinois, also pretty prominent. Michigan, Indiana, and then kind of going from there. A pretty good clip out of Oregon as well as Wisconsin. I had some here in Louisiana, Tennessee, Kentucky, North Carolina. All those were well represented. Pennsylvania as well. And then we kind of get into some of the ones that were more single digits here. Scrolling down a little bit further, unique stations heard, 392 unique stations, with 840 WHAS being the most prominently heard station during those 2 weeks. And again, this is for daytime DX, okay? Which that one, I'm not going to say that surprised me. I mean, look at the top ones that were here, WLW, WJR, WVA, WHAS. The top four were all big stations, right? 50K flamethrowers with a pretty significant coverage area, especially during the daytime. KDKA was in there, WSM was in there, so pretty big coverage areas. When we look by frequency, though, this one kind of surprised me a little bit. I expect to see the graveyarders kind of near the top of the list. So 1400 didn't surprise me. A little bit further down, we had where was 1340 was right here, 6, so one behind. And then we had a couple more. There's 1490 was in there, 1450 was in there, 1240 was in there. I saw 1230 in there. There it was. So all the graveyarders, I expect to see them up high because they're the ones that have the most likely chance of most DXers having a graveyard station somewhere within their earshot. But 550 with 8 stations. I know it's lower on the band and those get out a little bit further, but 550 was kind of surprising that many people had a station they could hear on 550 during the daytime. Conversely, I was a little surprised by 990 being as low as it was. Now, had I had more time to DX, this would have been 2 because I have a local here on 990, so it's possible it was just the luck of the draw of what we had, but kind of surprised 990 didn't have a little bit more in there. The rest of these down here at the bottom kind of made sense until we get to 910. 910 only 2. I would have thought there would have been some more on 910 as well. So interesting mix here of logs by frequency. Tom Laskowski. Tom, you're on right now, my friend. Congratulations, absolutely dominating here on the daytime challenge. 126 logs heard. Bruce from the IRCA, our friend out west, with 102 stations from up in Seattle. So that's all that stuff you saw, like Vancouver and all that kind of stuff. Bruce was just absolutely crushing it out there. And you'll see the rest of the list here as well. So Alan, Mark, Troy, Sam, Sean. Saw you in there, my friend. We had a couple other folks here. I have to scoot that over, I guess, so we can read the whole thing. David, I know you're in there. Alexander from Ukraine had a chance to do a little DX and make it in there with us. So, yeah, very, very interesting mix of stuff that was heard here daytime. 11 total DXers, 10 US, and then the Ukrainian DXer as well that joined us in there. And then you'll see here, so Tom took the top nod as far as total stations heard, but then if we look at total number of states heard, look at this. Alan Sykes, Cleveland, Georgia, 17 states heard daytime by Alan. Unbelievable. And I double checked the timestamps, the logging times, just to make sure. I was like, how was he like right there on the edge, like right on the edge of the... No, he was well within daytime on all of those. Not that I would doubt him. I just, like to double check. 17 states, including a DX station out of Canada. So a non-US station, a Canadian station from Cleveland, Georgia. I remember, I was in Charleston when I heard CHHA on 1610 out of Ontario, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I was just saying on Twitter earlier today, or on Facebook, one of the two, talking about daytime reception and hearing Cuba here. Actually, I have Cuba in here on 530, Radio Encyclopedia. I can also hear 1180 Rebeldy here, daytime, 670 Rebeldy here, daytime. So you definitely can hear some good distances, especially if you got some salt water near you. But 17 states, that's a really big accomplishment. So kudos, Alan, my friend. Look at these. Out of Cleveland, Georgia, obviously Georgia being the primary, North Carolina, you would expect that. Alabama, a couple in there. Yep. Florida. Yep. Iowa, 1040 right? Or I think it was KCJJ actually, which a lot of these that are kind of further out states, that's what he was hearing was the stuff in the expanded band. But even, you know, there was WHAS there for him in Kentucky, WJR out of Detroit, KMOX out of Missouri. And so, you know, there is this time of the year, even though you're not in sunset, you're out of that 2-hour window of sunset, you still get some enhancement because the D layer hasn't built in fully yet. Even into sometimes I've seen it into, you know, 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon before it starts to break down again as the sunset starts to come around. So you can still get some of these flamethrower stations like that daytime, 50K stations into 10, 11, 12 o'clock before it starts to kind of fade out a little bit. So that's what he was able to use to help him get 17 stations here. And then also second place, Tom, our overall winner on the challenge here, 13 states from Tom, and also Bruce out west with 7 states. So kudos to all 3 of those DXers and everybody really. You'll see here, I wanted to also kind of map out the home state of each DXer to kind of see where everybody was coming from. So we see Bruce out here by himself in Seattle. We had a nice little grouping here in the Midwest, so Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri. There I am. There was Allen there in Georgia. We had Maryland and DC in there as well. So a nice little cross section of the U.S., especially here in the Midwest. And that's why I think you saw so many Kentucky, Michigan, WSM was in there, right? So all those bigger stations like that we talked about earlier. That's why I think you saw so many of those heard daytime, because they were kind of right there. And then finally, our antennas used. The primary was a mag loop, 181. I think the primary out of that was a U loop. And then the AirSpy SDR was primarily used here by folks. Perseus as well. RSPDX, 102 logs on the RSPDX. C-Crane was the top portable, and Panasonic RF2200. So yeah, some good use here across the board on SDRs and antennas, getting that stuff in. The mag loop again, and then also 44 terminated loops, and 74 with a beverage assortment. There was a handful of beverage stations that were being used. Beverage antennas are being used to pull in stations here. So overall, absolutely very, very happy with our first ever daytime challenge. And again, I have thoughts about making this an annual thing. So what I wanted to kind of do with this is show everybody that you can hear stuff daytime. Again, yeah, we had some beverages in use here, but magnetic U loops and W6LVP loops were the primary driver in this. So folks hearing a hell of a lot of DX using simple magnetic loops and maybe an AirSpy HF Plus Discovery or HF Plus Dual or an RSPDX. And look at all the stuff they were hearing. Just absolutely blowing me away with what they were able to hear daytime. So if you're ever sitting there and you think, it's daytime, I can't hear anything, give it a shot. You never know what you're going to find in there, especially this time of the year when conditions are ripe to be able to hear kind of distant and a little bit further than you're probably used to. So again, kudos to everybody. Thank you for your participation in the daytime challenge. We appreciate you guys being in there. We're also still doing, by the way, our TIS challenge. So I want to take a second here to look at the TIS challenge and take a look and see what we have here. So let me scroll down here a bit to our current leaderboard. And John still crushing it here with 14 stations logged, TIS stations logged so far. Got Bill in here. Barry's coming in now with a TIS station. Good job. Stephanie, Steve, got you guys in there. William, very, very nice. So don't forget about this one. You can go to our website. It's dxcentralonline.com. And once you're there on the website, at the top, you'll see the menu. There's one option that says more. At the bottom, near the bottom of that is a TIS hard challenge. So definitely check it out. Any TIS on any frequency, whether you're at home or if you're on the road, there is a category for rover entries as well if you're going to be away from home. So TIS hard challenge. This is one that I've done a little bit of DX here. I haven't really spent as much time as I wanted to here yet on this one, but I really desperately want to spend some time on 1610, especially trying to get a little bit more there than just Ontario, so I can try to flesh that out for my stats. Speaking of stats, we'll be looking at this a bit later on the website, but I was, again, doing some tweaking here on the logbook. the online logbook, and just kind of flushing it out a bit, making some adjustments to the way things looked and stuff like that. So very, very happy with this one, how it turned out. You'll see here, this is what I have left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more frequencies that I need to get to 4 logs on or more. Everything else has 4 or more so far. But my goal is to get to everybody to 4 or more. Some of these are going to be easier than others. 870 is going to be nearly impossible. But 1280, got a shot if I can do some phasing to get rid of my local. 1680 is going to be very tough because there's just not a whole lot there. 690, again, I got a local I got to phase out, but I can probably do something with that. 1130, semi-local in Shreveport. I just haven't really spent a lot of time on that frequency, but I think I can do pretty well there once I spend some time on it. 1560, I've spent some time on it, but I can't get past Houston. KGOW. I'm gonna try it out with the north antenna, see if I can really maybe phase them out and do something to hear something there. 1630, I'm hoping for Wyoming there. 1640, there's not a whole lot there. I'm hoping to get Michigan on that one. And then that's really about it. Everything else is in the 4 or more. So I have a little bit of a plan of what I want to attack here to get me to that next kind of phase in my logbook, but just kind of going a little bit at a time. And I did add a couple of maps in here this week. I added a stations heard by state, so you can actually see here each state and it's kind of color coded, so how many stations I've heard in each one. And we also have the percent of states heard, so you can see, percent 38%, 35%, 29% Oklahoma here. You can see kind of where the biggest grouping is of stations that I've heard in each state. So again, we'll be taking a bit more look at this later on, especially as we start getting into the medium wave frequency challenge stuff, as I'm kind of transitioning it over to this format for our results and stuff like that. So speaking of, we have some more DX to do, my friends. Let's look here on the 980 here on the AirSpy HF Plus Discovery. We've got our northeast southwest CAS running on this one, currently pointing northeast. Let's see what we have here on 980 looking northeast. And we're going to have to go lower sideband here. Where did I move that to? That'd be a good idea, Sean. Just saw your comment about doing the daytime challenge in the summer. I like it.
This is obedience. With all the strokes, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. That's where you find yourself, in trouble. Therefore, will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea.
I would imagine that's WYFN.
Thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with their swelling thereof. Sure enough, shall we say, tumultuous time of life. Go to your refuge, your strength, your help in trouble.
I did forget to mention, on the daytime challenge, I wrote this down. I wanted to make sure I didn't forget, and I did. Very noteworthy here. I was looking to see. We did hear a station on every frequency. Every frequency had a logging on it, which was awesome. But I wanted to see if anybody would be able to pull that off. We got close. The closest that we got was Tom. He only was missing 8 frequencies. He was missing 730, 770, 990, 1010, 1550, 1560, 1570, and 1620. So those are the only frequencies that were missing for Tom to have the clean sweep. Now, had he gotten the clean sweep up through 1600, I think that would have still counted. So that's remarkable. So even missing the 8, that's still remarkable. I remember a time when I was in Brasstown where every frequency like that just about had something on at daytime. Now it's big gaps, big gaps, because we have so many stations here. I'm guessing in New Orleans it's kind of just wiping the band out, plus all the noise and everything else. So that's one of the reasons I'm looking at doing some more portable DX during the daytime, locally at some of the state parks and things like that. I'm doing some ideation right now on that, how I want to kind of put that together. And part of that is taking, instead of using, I've been traditionally using for my CAS and DCAS antennas, kite pole as my vertical apex. So you think about the shape of the CAS, right? It kind of comes down from a point down to the sides, and then you have a horizontal wire that goes across the bottom. So that apex at the top of that delta there, I've typically used a fiberglass kite pole to secure that. Well, that's fine, but I get a lot of this. I get a lot of bending of that kite pole. So a 16-foot pole now becomes like a 14 or a 13-foot pole, depending on how significant that bend is. So recently what I did to kind of get around that here for my front yard CAS that I have is I use my, I have an air cannon, pump a little air into it with a tire pump, shot up a fishing weight and fishing line up around a tree limb in the front yard, and then tied the other end of that to my where the fishing weight was, tied that to a piece of bit of rope, some rope that I had, pulled that back down, so the rope now came across the line back down to where I was, and then I tied a pulley right there, brought a little plastic pulley so it won't corrode, put my antenna wire through that to the other side, and then just hoisted it up. So I'm hoisting up that apex. Now it's around 16 feet, so I'm finally getting that full 16 feet on the north wire. But what I want to do is actually go out this weekend and cut new wire for it, because I can't get any higher because the wire's too short, because I cut it for a 16-footer. Well, now I can go about 25 feet up high. So I'm going to recut some wire, get that sucker higher, make that CAS a bit bigger. And that's going to be a trial run for me for when I want to do that portable, trying to go out here to the park and maybe do some of those. I actually, Tomas Weatherspoon, K4 SWL, has swling.com. He yesterday pointed me towards those arborist lines that you can throw into the trees with a little weight on it. He pointed me to some good ones that I can use for like a temporary activation like that. So gonna start working on that. So maybe some videos coming around that here pretty soon about kind of a portable deploy with a nice and big antenna. How do you do it? What all do you have to consider? What all is involved? That kind of stuff. Because I think some of you guys might enjoy maybe getting out and about away from noise daytime. Maybe even an overnight camping trip with some sunset, sunrise, or overnight DX away from noise kind of thing. Well, we can talk about that and what all goes into that. So that's something I'll be working on hopefully sooner rather than later. At the very least this weekend will be the hoisting up and cutting the new wire for the bigger version of the CAS up front. Since I have a little bit of a longer weekend, be doing that this weekend. And there'll be, like I said, a little trial run for the portable stuff. So kudos again, Tom. 8 frequencies missing, a logged station on every single other frequency daytime. Unbelievable.
Helping you on the road of life today, this is BDN.
You know, when you take a wrong turn on the road of life, sometimes the results are disastrous.
Pointing you to the way, the truth, and the life. Jesus Christ.
Jesus paid it all to him I owe.
Where you find new life. 980 AM WYSN.
Buff up. So I get to put them on my submission for this week. All right. It's a nice ID for middle of the hour like that. You don't typically see a good ID like that from a station running canned programming. Normally that's a top of the hour thing if you're lucky, so something to think about. 136. Right. Is that considered Nashville? Yeah. Let's go to 970.
Que ya vimos con estas imágenes de hace un rato de la Estación de Bellas Artes, ya vimos para qué sirven cuando realmente alguien hace un sabotaje destructivo a martillazos contra los torniquetes de las entradas de una estación del metro. No sirven para nada, nada más estorban. Porque una policía que...
My guess on this one,
ni siquiera en una estación del metro.
It's gonna be Mexico.
Por un grupo feminazi, pues
XERFR. If I had to guess.
Y además, si la policía de la Ciudad de México, como dice la señora Sheinbaum, es la mejor policía de México, pues entonces sus 5,000 elementos de excelencia no tendrían por qué ser respaldados por 6,000 más de la Guardia Nacional. Todo es para proteger a Claudia, como en otro tiempo protegió a Clara Brugada, inventando a Juanito y todo lo demás. Y bueno, no sería muy fácil dar más ejemplos, pero es poco. Y por la otra parte del asunto de Guardia, el presidente de la República se equivocó. El día 15 de este mes, él dijo que el señor Ricardo Mejía Verdeja era un funcionario ejemplar, que además lo iba a designar como su representante en Coahuila y que el señor Mejía Verdeja ya había aceptado desde un principio las condiciones a las que el pacto de respeto a la encuesta le imponía. Mentira, ni lo había aceptado, ni estaba metido en el corral. Se brincó las trancas, se salió de Morena, dejó al presidente votado con la subsecretaría y entonces el presidente tiene que apretar el abrazo que le da al señor Guadiana, independientemente de que Guadiana se lo merezca o no se lo merezca. Es un asunto de los electores de Coahuila. Pero todo lo que está pasando, lo que vemos, es que el presidente no tolera la crítica. Nunca le va a dar la razón a un crítico. Así la causa que ese crítico señale sea justa. Como última cosa te digo, ¿qué fue lo que pasó con la señora ministra de la Corte, la señora Isabel? El presidente dijo que esté libre de pecado, que tire la primera piedra. Pues sí, y la universidad tiró la primera tesis. Y así vamos viendo cómo el presidente, por proteger a los suyos, es capaz de negar cualquier cosa. Prefiero equivocarme con Yasmín, dijo, que darle la razón a Guillermo Sheridan. Bueno, a Sheridan le dieron la razón otros y a la señora Esquivel le espera un negro panorama. Y espero haber concretado algunos de los puntos, Pepe, porque son tantos que para eso venimos 2 veces por semana.
Muchas gracias Rafael, bien lo dices. Que estés muy bien, que pases buen fin de semana.
Muchas gracias, Pepe.
Gracias, es la opinión, es el comentario del analista
There we go.
Cardona. Juan Antonio Jiménez, hay una última hora en este momento. Están vinculando procesos.
I wanted to get those submitted. So I got a 980. We got a WYFN Nashville. Added them in 970. KSYL Alexandria at the top of the hour. We had that. And now we have the XERFR formula coming in, and there's a sports station in there too. That if I had to guess, good question. Let's go back and see if we can pull them out. Now remember, we're pointing northeast right now from me, so something northeast of New Orleans is kind of the general target area I'd be looking for a sports station here. So possibly could it be Troy with 45 watts? Could it be Jonesboro with 41 watts? Let's take a look. So I've pretty much made a determination here that I'm going to be buying or changing up my microphone here. The Yetis, it's fine, but this USB is too finicky. It just went out because I just bumped into it, and when it does, it throws the Perseus into a loop. So I'm considering changing up here, and I have a couple other mics that I have right now, and eventually I'm going to probably upgrade one of those for the studio mic here, but probably getting away from this Yeti mic. It's just bumping into it or moving it a little bit and everything goes haywire. So it's about the constant upgrades, my friends, about constantly upgrading your setup.
Ser verde no es estar a la moda como muchos piensan. Hoy, ser verde está siendo un estilo de vida para miles de personas. Porque así como nosotros nos preocupa el cambio climático, el cuidado del agua, de los bosques y el bienestar animal. Y aunque nos sigan criticando, seguiremos trabajando. Porque hasta ahora el 90% de las propuestas medioambientales y por los animales son del verde. Es momento de gritar fuerte y con mucho orgullo. Yo quiero un México más verde. Partido Verde.
México se transforma. El presidente Andrés Manuel López Obrador destacó que la 10ª cumbre de líderes de América del Norte, así como las reuniones bilaterales con Estados Unidos y Canadá, dieron resultados y acuerdos que benefician a las tres naciones. Fue una reunión muy productiva y fraterna. Nuestra economía está muy estable por esa buena relación con Canadá y Estados Unidos, subrayó el mandatario. Así, México se transforma.
So there you go. There's Formula on 970. Whatever sports station I had in there is not making it through that right now.
¿Tienes alguna duda sobre el cambio de tarjeta de la pensión para los adultos mayores? Nos acompaña la secretaria de Bienestar, Ariadna Montiel.
Now we can go over here and let's swap over. Move back to the Perseus. They're still there. Now I could probably do a little phasing to get rid of them here off the Perseus, but we're gonna hold off on that. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be looking for shout outs, so get those ready. So when I say go, throw me those shout outs. So we'll be doing that when we come back, and we'll be announcing our new frequencies of the week and getting ready for another top of the hour alert. Flying by, more DX Central Live coming right after this.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. From the pages of its DX Monitor Member Bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AMDX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. Pleasant Friday evening to you all. I saw you guys talking about, just kind of saw in the chat there, somebody talked about the expedition that happened in Newfoundland not too long ago. And it reminded me, you know you're a DXer when. So my wife and I were talking about planning a vacation for sometime soon. Probably, when I say soon, I'm talking like 6 months or so, June-ish, May, June time frame. And so I was like, I want to go somewhere like new, somewhere we've never really seen before. And so we started talking about some different places that we were talking about and that we were kind of interested in. And I just kind of casually mentioned, I was like, what about Newfoundland? And she's like, what's there in Newfoundland? I was like, I don't know. Let's just go. Let's just go to Newfoundland just to say we've been there. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll see an iceberg float by or something. Let's just go to Newfoundland. And then we started talking about maybe Iceland for the Northern Lights and stuff. And I was like, yeah, but Newfoundland. And she goes, wait a minute, you just want to go to DX. I was like, well, I mean, yeah, maybe, but why? What's that? I mean, what? And she's totally cool with it. She's like, obviously I'm not going to sit in the hotel room or whatever the entire time that we were there. I'm going to let the SDR run overnight. But she called me out. She knew exactly what it was. So you know you're a DXer when you kind of look at places, you're like, yeah, let's go there. And I can set up my SDR and antenna and do some DX. And then we'll come back home with lots of great pictures and memories. She's a sharp one. She's sharp. She knows me way too well. Couldn't sneak that one by her. She was cool with it. She's like, that's fine. Let's go. Either that or Iceland, either one. And I was like, Northern Lights might make Iceland a little tough for DX, but I think it'd be fun to try. I do want to see the Northern Lights, but I know Newfoundland I will be able to get a lot of great DX. So I'm over here kind of tossing and turning on that one a little bit. So we'll let you know what we do. But if we do go anywhere cool where I can do some cool DX, you know SDR is coming with me. The portable W6 LVP is coming with me. We'll do a full band scan and have all that stuff up on the YouTube channel and be sharing with you guys. So I got you covered. I do this for you, not for me. It's not for me. It's for you guys. Let's do some more DX now. I got a couple shout outs I've written down here so far. Steph, I got yours that you mentioned here that you got tonight, which is awesome. If you have any others you want to include in there, just total numbers, stuff like that, or new states, new logs, new countries. Keegan, I got your new ones in there. John, I saw one that you had mentioned. So if you have any shout outs, you can just say I heard X number of new stations, or if you got something really cool you want to talk about, new logs, new states, new countries, send them over in the chat. We'll be grabbing those here in a few moments once I hit play here on the Perseus. So we're getting close to the top of the hour, which means we're getting close to announcing our new frequency of the week here in about 2 minutes or so. Send those shout outs. All right, let's go ahead and do our announcement here for the new frequencies of the week. So far, I've got in the shout out list here. I got Stephanie, I've got Keegan, I've got John, I've got Carl, I've got Troy, I've got Sean. That kind of rhymed. I liked how that flowed. I've got Rick, I've got Jeff. I've got some more coming. I'm sure there's some more in there. So if you got a shout out you want to get in, let me know. New log, new state, new countries. Let's get those in. Let's go ahead and announce our new frequency range of the week. There's another thing. Okay. Any guesses? Anybody? Anything you think? Huh? You think we're going to go high? We've been kind of in the middle of the band here, right? Think we're going to go high? Going to go low? Where are we going to go? Regionals? Graveyards? Clear channel? 630 to 660. That's a fun range. There's some good stuff in there. There's some maddening stuff in there. But the one that I'm really excited about is spending a healthy amount of time on 650 in the hopes that something there besides WSM arrives. Now, I have heard some other stuff. The Columbia, Progresso. I've heard some other stuff there. But I really hope I get something out west or something. That'd be Utah. Come on, man. KMTI. I'm looking at you here this week. All right? I'm looking at you this week, KMTI. Or I'm not picky. I'll take you, KGAB, Orchard Valley, Wyoming. Let's do this. Let's bring it on. So where do you think we're starting? We're going to start on 6:30. Let's start there as we get ready for our top of the hour alert. Stephanie, I'm hoping you get him. That would be awesome. All right, not hearing much here on 6:30. Other than some really nice noise, that's gorgeous. Talk here in a bit. After the top of the hour, we'll talk a bit about what to expect here. We'll look at the nighttime pattern maps, NF8M, to see what's out there and what we can expect to see, if there's any targets we're looking for. But first, top of the hour, we're going to start on 6:30, and then we'll go back in and do all the other frequencies as we usually do. There's one I want. Blog post is up on the website with the Google form. Oops. I'm certain that's something down your way, Mike. But, woof. That's going to be rough. I'm hoping maybe it's these guys. Nope, never mind. 500 watts, that ain't them. 1 kilowatt. Okay, XEFU is my guess. LaFu. Or maybe it's Telisco here. XEPBGJ. Wow, that's a mouthful. And I suddenly crave a peanut butter sandwich. XEFKX. Nope, not them, probably. So these are my two most likely culprits here. Two 10 kilowatts out of Mexico. There's nothing in Colombia, nothing in Ecuador, Peru, or Brazil really worth a nothing here. I would love for that to be Puerto Rico, but I know it's not them. I know their imaging is usually much more aggressive and fanfare-ish. There could be some Progresso in there, 5 kilowatt off the island, not out of the question. I think, what else have we heard here that would maybe potentially be Latin? I don't know much. What have we heard here? We've heard Arkansas, we've heard San Antonio, we've heard KYFI out of Missouri, and the really big shocker I had was the night I had KHOW out of Denver. That was a big night. That was fun. But look at this big swath right here. Look at this. From basically here, we see KFXD, KPLY, KSUR. From just east of that, all the way to this line here by Minnesota, San Antonio. All of that is KHOW land, I'm guessing. Is that what they're telling us? We'll look at the map here in a bit and see. But that's a big old chunk of the U.S. where there's just nothing but one station sitting there. So that's interesting. Further east, we have a little bit more that you can look at here. LAP, some of those. Well, like I said, we'll look at the nighttime map here in a little bit. Let's go to 640 and let's hear how loud Progresso is coming in tonight. Why is that not showing up? Let's try that one more time. There it is. I'm over here turning my vactrol like I'm live DXing. So here, obviously Progresso is a big one that I have here. KFI, Stephanie, your neck of the woods. I know you're going to just be inundated there with them. But that's a big one for the rest of us who are looking for California or trying to get California logged. This might be a shot this week. It's nice and quiet. Super good conditions. Hopefully not a whole lot of solar stuff. I'm hoping this week so we can get some KFI in there. We also do have a station down here in Mexico for those looking south of the border. XENQ. NAQ. In Dulancingo de Bravo. I hope I got that right. Ike, if I didn't, I apologize. Let's go see how loud WSM came in tonight.
If you're listening on WSM Radio, stay tuned for the Opry Intermission Show. This is Opry at the Ryman, presented by Humana, live on the official WSM app, and like every Opry show since 1925 on 650 AM WSM, Nashville, Tennessee. We'll be back.
There you go. Well, all right. Nice jingle in there. Nice ID. So there you go, Stephanie. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for that ID. Now, they don't do that jingle every hour. But, yeah, that's what you're trying to shoot for, right? Let's look at 660. Spent some time here when I was looking for KTNN. Finally did get them once here. We also have FAN. We also have... This is the big pest for me here. Is Balch Springs KSKY the answer. XQW is another one that we get from time to time here in the daytime. DYZ in Almonte Springs was kind of a pain when I was in Charleston. Progresso is another one that shows up here from time to time. XEDTL, and I'm surprised I haven't gotten La Caliente here out of Mexico. XEEY, that's one I'm kind of hoping to see. But I want to get KTNN again. I want to get a nice air check for the YouTube channel from them this week. That's a goal. Also, this is just a general goal, and this is why my north-south CAS is currently facing north. I have a big, huge gap of just nothingness in Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, Michigan, and Iowa. This whole area right here, call it Rick Dow country. I have a big, just whole bunch of nothing in here. So I'm hoping to get some of that this week. Maybe some Minnesota here, maybe some Nebraska here, maybe Keys up here in North Dakota. I know I'm kind of wishful thinking, but let's shoot big if we're gonna dream, right? So that's what we're looking for this week on 660. Let's go back and see what we had top of the hour. Oh, this one down here, XECPR, aka CPR, Radio Chan Santa Cruz. That's a really good one to try for. I heard them in Charleston. They come in pretty well here, obviously, because we're just bloop right there across the water. If you're looking for Mexico, this is a good one to look for here. Radio Chan Santa Cruz. We have the air check up on the YouTube channel. You can go check it out. This is a very... they get out a lot better than some people may think. So if you're looking for Mexico, this is one to try for. 660 XECPR. Okay, that wasn't XEDTL. I'm thinking that was XEFZ here in San Nicolas de los Garza. If anybody has any ears on it, let me try lower sideband here. Unless WSM's wiping us out. That WSM splatter ain't helping. That might be XECPR. That might be. Let me try one more time. I think it might be. It sure sounded like it. Yeah. Yeah, here, I got you, Mike. I got you. Pretty sure that's them. I heard what sounded like the Radio Chan, and that little jingle, that little steel drum kind of jingle, would make sense for something right there on that side of the Yucatan in Quintana Roo. So, yeah. That's my guess. That is my guess. Let's go ahead and do quick shout outs. So we've gone through our first bit. We're going to look at the nighttime maps here in a few moments. Let's do a look at some shout outs, though, for folks, because we got some celebrating to do. All right. If I don't get to you, if you have a shout out you would like to get in and I don't get to you on this round, have no fear. We have another round coming up here in a bit. So we'll get to those. All right, let's start with Hefe, Jeff, friend Jeff, usually right there with Barry on the weekly challenge, bringing in the goods. New ones for Jeff this week. Radio Coco, me too. Very happy about getting them in there. Radio Coco and XEQ 940. So two from my own heart, Latin American stations there on this week's Frequency Challenge frequencies. Good job, Jeff. Let's see. Rick with KOIL local off on 1290. WIRL in Illinois came through. Nice. Let's see. We've got Troy. His first station from the Upper Peninsula, his first Ooper. Got 770 WZAM in Michigan. But wait, there's more. He also got 1070 KNX for a brand new state, California. Good job, Troy! Yeah, I got the fireworks firing off for you, my friend. Let's see. Stephanie, KMIN tonight during the stream. 980, New Mexico for a new one for Stephanie. Good job, my friend. John got a new one out of Ohio that he said was a nice surprise for him this week. So, hey, one more in the logbook. That's more than you had before. And if it's a nice surprise, we get you in there with... Keegan, my neighbor to the north in Arkansas, 4 new ones for Keegan this week. Good job, my friend. Carl got 5 new ones this week, including 2 from our Frequency Challenge frequencies this week. So good job, Carl. Let's see. And finally for this first round, again, if I didn't get to you in this first round, have no fear. I'm coming back in a little bit later on. Sean, 11 brand new ones this week for Sean, my friend. Good job, including 1250 KCUE in Minnesota, a station he has been aggressively chasing after now for quite some time. Finally got him in there. Determination and perseverance pay off for our friend Sean. Good job, my friend. Never giving up. Finding that station that you want and not giving up until you get him in the log. That's That's the way right there. That's the DX Central way. That's what we do here. We aggressively stalk radio stations anywhere we might find them. All right, let's do a really quick break. When we come back, we got some more live DX here for you. We're going to do our DXC tweet of the week. We'll do another round of shout outs here in a bit. We're going to look at those nighttime pattern maps from our frequencies for this week, 630 to 660, in case you missed it, and a bit more. So, my friends, don't go anywhere. Let's see. I like that one there. DX Central, I'll be right back after this.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
From the pages of its DX Monitor member bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AM/DX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AM/DXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AM/DXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News member bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios in Mandeville, Louisiana. We bring you live AM/DX every Friday night from our studios and our shack here in the North Shore area of Mandeville, Louisiana, just north of Lake Pontchartrain, about 27 miles north of the city of New Orleans. Home, baby, home. Let's take a look. We talked about our new frequencies of the week. We talked about we did a quick listen of them, rather, the top of the hour. We'll come back to it again at the top of the hour, this next hour as well. But I also like to take a look at our nighttime pattern maps for each frequency that we're looking at as well, just to get a sense of kind of what's out there, what options might we be seeing, and obviously apply this knowledge to where you're located as well. But starting with 630, this is going to be probably our frequency with the most logs on it, I'm guessing. Excuse me, because there's just a lot more here. Now I've got, trying not to move my microphone here, terrified if I do it's gonna just cut out and then I'll be talking for like 5 minutes and not to realize that you guys are going, guy. So I'm actually kind of surprised. Remember, I was just talking about how we looked at the map on the Perseus. Let me go back to 630 here on the Perseus SDR with the Jaguar software. We talked about how there's this big area here where there's just nothing, right? And so I thought that must be the entire area here where you have KHOW signal kind of getting in there. And yeah, but not really. I mean, look at this whole area here. What about you guys in Nebraska? What are you hearing on 630? Over here in western Montana, what are they hearing? Wyoming, what you guys got going on there? I'm sure we have some of this kind of stuff kind of creeping in, right? Those lines obviously are not absolute, but you know, what this whole swath right here, what's up with that? There's just no stations in there for one, and there's not any primary coverage on 630. So I would just be curious to know what you guys hearing there, Rick, on 630. Probably KYFI if I had to guess, even though they kind of have a null towards Omaha here, actually. So is it this one? Maybe REY? Is that what you're hearing? But you see KHOW, nice big boom down here, down south. KYFI, that's the one we get bombarded with here on 630. Some nice signals up here up north. CFCO into Michigan. So Bill, you're going to be probably doing a lot of that. Also probably here to be LAP, kind of playing around with them a little bit because they've got this nice flower kind of pattern here that goes into the southeast. This is what I used to just deal with all the time right here. This little lobe from 630 LAP right here. That's what was the bane of my existence. The Wi-Fi is a big one here. A little bit from LAP as well. KVMA gets over a bit. KSLR is a big one for me here. Believe it or not. Actually, I'm sorry. That's not their... That's Wi-Fi. Here's KSLR. A little bit of a lobe over here. And then bloop, bloop. These two down here. Out east, it's kind of a mess. You got MAL. You've got... PRO up here in Rhode Island was one I always wish I could have heard and never did. Now I see why. Look at that. Just sending their signal out to the fishes. And Bermuda. Boy, that'd be nice, right? Sitting in Bermuda, DXing back to the coast. Oh, but they got some good stuff there. There's UNOs. You can see I have a nice big null in my direction, so chances of me hearing them, but they're doing good serving the Caribbean there. And again, the fishies and the sharks. Here's your out west. Nice big one, KFXD here. Idaho. That's one I've always wanted, but I mean that's pretty tight, right? North south or northeast southwest there. Not a whole lot thrown our way, so I don't hold out much hope. KCIS up here in the Seattle area, Pacific Northwest. You guys got something there, so yeah. Oh, look at that KFX that just blew right there towards Portland out of Idaho. That's a nice little lobe they got there. So yeah, looks like 630 is definitely going to be the one that we can see a lot on this week. 640. Now out east you got a bit more. Look at KFI. Look at that coverage here. That's sick. I mean, it's a whole lot of fish food there, but it's just still, it's pretty impressive. Then we look down here, and by the way, for those of you who are wondering, the website we're at here is nf8m.com, and then they're medium wave pattern maps, so you can definitely take a look at this alongside with us and bookmark this site. I use it all the time when I'm trying to kind of do some research on a frequency. Here KTIB, I don't really hear them that much here anymore, and now I kind of see why. Yeah, we're probably still in their primary contour, but look, they're just saying, hey Cancun, what's up? This is Louisiana down here, which makes sense maybe why they here not long ago changed to a Spanish format for a while. WOI in Des Moines, Iowa, nice signal from them into the Midwest and Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Indiana or Illinois rather. So you guys over here in this kind of area here be hearing a lot of WOI. I haven't heard them here, I don't think, which would be a little surprising because they do have a nice little lobe in this general direction. KWPN in Oklahoma here. That is one that we do here from time to time. The big one for me is always Havana down here. It's Progresso. It's just all the time with Progresso dominating the frequency, and I kind of see why now when I look at the map like this. You got WGST really pumping out on the East Coast. You got WFNC as well doing their thing. WWJZ up in New Jersey. So yeah, the upper New England area up here, not a whole lot. I would imagine CFCO probably fills in. I'm sorry, that was the wrong frequency. Let me backtrack that statement. CFIQ, sorry. Montreal probably takes care of most of this area up here in the New England states. It's my guess. Maybe a little bit of CBN if you're feeling froggy out in Newfoundland, you're able to get to them. But although that's 10 kilowatt, not too shabby. So maybe some of that drifting in. So that's 640, mostly KFI for most of the country, and then a mixture of Iowa. MEN here. I'm sorry, MFN. My eyes are going bad. In Illinois, that's one that probably gets out quite a bit. Oklahoma, we have heard here. CRV is another one here in Collierville. They get down here quite a bit. Let's look at this is 650. You talk about good Lord. I mean, that's just almost obscene amounts of coverage area for WSM. Goodness, that's about half the country right there, man. And that's why it's so hard for anyone on this side of the country to hear anything other than WSM. You got SRO up there trying their damnedest. At least they used to be. KMTI, that's the one I'm looking for here. And they do have a lobe kind of coming back around this way, so there's a possibility. When I was in California, in Lake Forest, a couple times doing my recordings, they would come in better on my portable than on my loop, which was interesting. KSTE, maybe up in the Pacific Northwest, you guys have a shot. CISL. Up in the Vancouver area. CKOM, got a nice shot up there. We got Minnesota, you guys have one up here as well. But I mean, most of us are kind of dealing with this beast, right? I know Stephanie, you're looking for them from out in Cali, which is awesome. Hopefully you get that if they can break through MTI. Just because you hear country music, don't assume it's automatically Utah. It could be these guys. Look at that. There's a nice one to kind of think about. Hawaii. That's a daydream we can all have, right? Oh, yep, there's Alaska. That's another daydream we can all have. That's a decent coverage area. Look at that. So let's just ponder what it would be like to sit in our homes and hear Hawaii or Alaska. That'd be nice. But no, it's WSM. It's WSM all the time. 660. Wow, FAN. I didn't realize how big that coverage area was for them. I mean, that's pretty significant. Here in my neck of the woods, it's KSK or KSKY. The answer. Keys, would love to get them. And there is a little bit of a near pointing right at me. Kind of like a little dove beak right there, kind of pointing right at me saying, I'll fly your way, buddy. One of these days, I'll fly down to Louisiana and give you a little taste of North Dakota. KTNN, there you go. That's the one. I know you guys hear them in California quite a bit. We had a little smattering, I think it was a year or two ago, where they kept just kind of mysteriously staying on their daytime pattern at night. And so I heard them in Charleston a couple times. I have heard them here one time, but I'd like to hear them again. So I'm going to spend some time on 660 this week looking for KTNN. There's Alberta up here, Calgary, CFFR. Look at that. That's a nice coverage area. That KTNN though, that's that kidney bean shape. Look at that. That's just It's a nice signal. Really nice. So there you go. Those are some of the options that we're looking at here this week. Obviously, that's not an exhaustive list. And that doesn't include probably some of those daytimers that powered off, or maybe some of these that might have a tiny little footprint at night that might have a bigger footprint during the day. So go up to nf8m.com and check out their nighttime and daytime and even their critical hour antenna pattern maps, and see if there's anything you can do to aid your research of what you might have a shot at hearing this week. So let's go to 660. Why not? And I'm going to put it over here on the Northwest wire. And KTNN for me is right about 295 degrees. My Northwest wire is at 305. So I should have a shot, right? Let's take a look. Oh, Hawaii's off the air. Okay, well, never mind. So yeah, you can tell how much I pay attention to Hawaii radio station updates, because I'm like, oh, there's no chance I'm gonna hear them anyway. And we will be getting to some more shout outs a bit later on. So make sure you stay tuned for those and hold on to those if you have them. As a reminder, this hour of Live DX is brought to you by the International Radio Club of America, irconline.org. That's where you want to go for more information about becoming a member, getting your hands on a copy of the DX monitor. Damn it, I got to send my money in to Wayne and David on the NRC. We'll do that right now. He on KTNN here. When they carry their Navajo programming, they do a lot of country music and like not classic rock, but kind of classic rockish stuff. Classic hits, from time to time. But when they do their Native American Navajo traditional programming, you hear a lot of chanting and things like that. Sticks out like a sore thumb. And they have a great web stream you can match it up against. So that's, if you're looking for Arizona, it's a great one to try for. And I'm going to be spending a lot of time on 60 this week because I want that air check. Yeah, there's the answer. See, I wasn't kidding. I'm gonna get you in here, Earl. Oh, you got Tyler. KTBB, nice. Got you, David. Master player from Morgan City, no neighbor to the west. Hey, my friend. Bienvenue. Is that new for you, Barry? Or, I know you got some other new ones this week. What you got new? Let's hear it. And Master Plan, welcome, my friend. Give you the lay of the land here as a new subscriber. Hey, we appreciate you coming by and being a subscriber and joining us here. We're doing a little live AMDX right now, and so what we do usually is we have a range of frequencies every week that we all DX together, and there's a form that you can go to. You can go to our website, dxcentralonline.com. I don't think I have that or third thing there. So let me change to this. It'll pop up. There it is, dxcentralonline.com. And you'll see we do blog posts there whenever we have a new frequency of the week. The new one just came up here, the top of the last hour, that has the link in there for the Google form, so you can submit your entries if you want to participate, or you can just use it as an opportunity to DX it and see what all you can hear. On the frequencies this week, we're doing, we just started 630 to 660. So from 0200 UTC here that we just had the top of the last hour here at 8 o'clock Central. You'll go from there till 8 o'clock Central next week, between 630 and 660 kilohertz, as much as you can hear, right? Daytime, sunset, sunrise, nighttime, whatever it is. The goal is to hear as many stations as you can, as far away from you as you can, as many states as you can, as many countries as you can, as much as you can get. And then we compare notes of the each week to see what we heard, and then we start up a new one. And so we'll do that. And then we also do shout outs. So I got Earl, David, and Earl and David so far in here for round 2 of our shout outs. What that means is if you have a new station that you logged that was brand new to you, whether it was on the frequency challenge frequencies or not, it doesn't matter. Anything that was new to you this week that you logged in the last week since our last stream, also any new states, any new countries you heard, you let us know in the shout outs, and we do a little celebration to celebrate together, so we all have a chance to pat each other on the back and talk about how awesome the DX has been, hopefully. So that's what we're doing right now, that we're doing live DX. We're sitting on 660 kilohertz right now. I'm looking for KTNN and Window Rock. So that's where we're going to spend a little time here before we get to the next top of the hour time frame. And again, welcome. That's kind of my goal, but I just can't get past. I'm sorry, I'm talking to Charles here in San Diego. That's my goal, is to hear him around sunset, but I just can't get past freaking all springs here in the answer. They're just kind of blocking my path here, and whenever I hear anything, it's usually them or Mexico or Progresso. That's my three-headed monster that I have to get through. FAN's usually not much of a hindrance for me here in Louisiana. In Charleston, yeah, it was a beast. I want to play with it a little bit this week with maybe some phasing to see if maybe that might help. I tried a little bit of that when I had the Superloop up and I was pointing more west. Not great results, so I want to try a bit more this week with that northwest wire, since it's about 10 degrees off center of my wire from here to Window Rock. I have a decent shot, so I'm gonna play with it a little bit. But I did hear him once. It was overnight, right when I first moved here to Mandeville, but since then, nothing. The air check, Barry, I want to get KTNN. I want to get like a nice top of the hour ID from them so I can add it to the YouTube channel for an air check, because I've heard them, but it was super weak, and I was just kind of verifying that it was them with live stream parallel. But I want that air check, man. I've become such a junkie for getting nice quality ID air checks. Love it. Approaching 300 now from Mandeville on the YouTube channel. My goal is to be able to get one from every station that I hear. I haven't gotten there yet, but that's my goal. So we'll see. But yeah, I want to get KTNN this week. So that's what I was talking about. K6 SUD, my friend, you reminded me, and I appreciate that. Let's talk about that. Spectrum Monitor. The Spectrum Monitor magazine. That's the website I was talking about earlier in the magazine that I have a article coming up in here in February. So it's just thespectrummonitor.com. Thespectrummonitor.com. 12 issues for $24. $2 an issue. Can't really beat that. And it's HF. There's utilities, there's everything you can think of. It's kind of the legacy takeover from Monitoring Times when Monitoring Times went away. Ken picked up and said, let's keep this rig rolling, and got the Spectrum Monitor going. So you'll see here, I have a couple of articles in some of these back issues, but the new one's coming out in February. That's going to be the one that my most recent articles will be in. So once that's on the streets, I'll talk a bit about that issue in the article, and also be working on a companion video to go with it. But the spectrummonitor.com, that's where you would go to get more information on that particular magazine. And again, it's $24 to subscribe for a year, or it's $3. That's $2 an issue, or $3 per issue if you buy them individually. And they are electronic only, but I mean, everything else is these days, right? So no qualms there about the electronic magazine for the most folks. So there you go. Hope that helps. Let's do something. I didn't even realize I haven't gone down here yet and see if I can hear FAN here on the air spot. Let's do that. Doesn't sound like it, but let me widen out my bandwidth here a little bit. Let me go back to upper sideband. Oh, that's why. So I'm hearing Mexico in there a little bit. Not hearing FAN in there, at least not strong enough to really kind of stick around. Let's go back from the AirSpy. Let's go to the Perseus and see what we have here on the Jaguar software. Ugh, that noise tonight's just nasty. Yeah, I was bummed when MT went away too. I don't know if I've ever talked about it really much publicly, but you know, I grew up with that magazine. Some of my earliest memories to do with radio were back when it was still tabloid newsprint. Were around that magazine. Folks like Larry Miller, obviously the Groves, Bob and Judy. Just some really great memories of that magazine. And then when it went to magazine format, to slick print format, you know, getting to do my first feature article, my first published ever article that I ever had was in the pages of MT. I was still in high school. I think it was 96. I wrote a feature that's actually up on our website, up on dxcentralonline.com in our FMDX section under DX 101. I did a FMDX 101 article on the basics of FMDXing. And that started my writing career, and then went into newspapers and other stuff after that. But then later came back and did a regular monthly column, as some of you guys know in MT, is internet streaming, GlobalNet. Did that for several years, for about 5 years before the magazine folded. But no, I mean, it was a really, really special thing. A lot of really great people with the magazine and kind of associated around the larger Grove company. You know, obviously, when we moved to Brasstown, it was to work. Dad was working out of the office there at Grove. And so having, you know, them all kind of welcome us in and kind of throw their arms open was really nice when we moved from New Orleans to Brasstown, which was, whoo, talk about culture shock. Damn. But no, it was great. So yeah, a lot of great memories with MT. You know, Mom with the center section and her columns and kind of making a name for herself. Which reminds me, I don't know if you're still watching, Mom and Dad. Well, where'd it go? I was looking at this the other day. Ah, there it is. I wonder how many people still have a copy of this guy sitting in their possession. So we talk about, we have our ads from Teak Publishing with the Global Radio Guide. This is kind of where that started, right here. International Call Sign Handbook. Grove, this was what, 92? Yep, first printing July 92. This was right before we came down here or left from here in New Orleans to go up to Brasstown about a year before. So, still have my copy. Never got it signed, though, you'd think. Have a shot at getting that sucker signed. Let's do some shout-outs real quick before we jump into our next top of the hour cycle here. Earl got some new ones this week. 3 new ones for Earl, my friend. Good job. Congratulations. All right, we're going to put it on this camera now so we can get rid of that little block there. Okay. 3 new ones for David as well, including one on our it's obviously was before we did the new frequencies, but got WVLG in Florida on 640. So he's prepared for that one. Go back and get him again. Add him to the challenge this week. 3 new ones for David. Good job, my friend. And I know Barry, I think Barry said he had a new one from Mexico. I'm sure there was a lot more in there, Barry, too. I remember you posted some stuff online. So we're just going to give Barry a nice big general log saw because he's been just, man, he's getting the stuff. Those antennas, those Casses are crushing it for you right now, my friend. Where is it? Here. Yeah. This is probably my favorite issue of MT ever. That was a feature article that I wrote on storm spotting. Let's see. Where is it? A Watchful Eye in the Sky by Lloyd Van Horn, W4LVH. Getting started in storm spotting, and how it kind of applied to radio and stuff like that. So that was one of my favorite MTs from back in the day. And then, okay, before we get to the top of the hour, I did have a couple new ones. Well, let's go over here and pull up the online logbook, and we'll talk about the new ones. So we started with, I'm just going to these because these are all my new ones for the week. All right, KSEV Tomball, I'm not sure how you say it. 700 kilohertz, new one for us this week. This was a new one statewide, or statewise. Casper, Wyoming. Thought I had him in the logbook from Mandeville. Didn't. KTWO Casper, new state. That's number 38. I have not met Reed. I've interacted with him a couple times on Twitter. But there's another guy I do know from South Carolina who was actually friends with him and was just storm chasing with him. But that's on my list. I didn't know that apparently his family is up in the Greenville area, and maybe that was after I left Greenville area, because if I'd known that, he's hiking up Paris Mountain and stuff like that all the time, which I used to do all the time when I lived there. So I kind of skirted around the guy, but that's on my list. I got to meet Greed. Really, really cool dude. Used to love watching him on Storm Chasers. 740 KRMG Tulsa, that was a new one for us this week. WINZ Miami 940, that was new, which was interesting because we have a local here on 940, WYLD, that I had to get rid of first. WNTD Chicago 950, that was a new one. KJTV Lubbock. KMA Shenandoah, talked about that one. That was a nice shock, nice surprise. As was KGKL San Angelo on 960, and then 980 Radio Coco. So the frequency challenge netted for us, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new ones this week, which is awesome, plus the other ones that we had in there. So a handful of new ones here for us this week, including the new state. So we'll saw some logs for that, and if we didn't get to your shout out, that's not a problem. We'll get to you next week for sure. We definitely like to celebrate here together on DX Central Live whenever we get good stuff in here, new logs, new states, and new countries. So if we didn't call your name, we're going to give you a nice big nice general shout out and applause for anyone who got some new stuff this last week. And again, next week, feel free to jump in there and throw any of your shout outs you want to get in to us on our next show next Friday. Let's go over here and get ready for top of the hour, my friends. It's about that time. We've been sitting on 660. Do we want to keep there? Do we want to move to 630? What do you want to do? We'll do our usual top of the hour thing. We'll bounce around all of them because we're recording on the Perseus at the top of the hour here. So we'll bounce all of those frequencies from the frequency range this week. We'll start on 660 though, to see if we might hear that ID out of KTNN kind of creep through. So let's start there on the Perseus and get ready, because it is top of the hour time frame. Let's do this. catching up on the chat. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Barry alone has logged enough this season to get about 2 or 3 new chains. And then the rest of you guys, just, damn, just crushing it. Start with you, Carl. Happy early birthday, Carl. Have fun up in Knoxville. Bring a radio. Good radio conditions up there. All right, so we're going to rewind here on these other frequencies and see what we heard here. Master Player, I saw your gear rundown there. Awesome stuff, man. So if you're mostly an AMDX or an FMDX, like what kind of stuff do you typically find yourself listening for? We do both here. We do both AM and FM. We have both. What's that old line? We have both kinds of music, country and western. But we do both kinds of DX here, AM and FM. So yeah, we love to see what all you're into, and I try to do some FMDX every once in a while, but it's hard with the copyright stuff. They'll nail you on that every time with the popular music. Happens more frequently because I guess the signals are clearer usually on FM than they are on AM here. So I usually get away with it on AM for some reason. I don't know why. So 660, I didn't really hear anything. Let's go back one more time at the top of the hour here, see if we missed anything. And we're going to swap it over to lower sideband because we know sometimes upper sideband, lower sideband, you'll hear 2 different things sometimes. Station's stronger on one than the other. So we'll try it out. Conditions are just rough here tonight. Not a whole lot of nothing really standing out. A lot of noise. Ugh. All right, let's and I'm on the northwest wire here. Let's go see if WSM's still taking over on 650 here. Yeah. Oops. So now let's go over here and so 650 is going to be WSM here for us. I'm going to try my damnedest to get Utah in the logbook this week. That's going to be a goal for me this week. Try to add Utah in there. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off. It's going to be kind of a tall order, but we're going to try it. 640, where are you at? there's Radio Progresso, right on cue. Let's see if we have their top of the hour song that I love so much. Oh, that's a dream right there, Radio Rica.
I don't want to just sit back and watch the world go by and know that I could be doing something to make the world better.
Look at this.
I really fall in love with helping people.
Probably CRV.
When I know that I've helped somebody.
When you know that you can
What's wrong with the audio?
it's incredibly
Is it the SDR audio or is it my microphone? What's
so inside. And there's so many people out there who can use
Is that better if I pull down the main computer volume?
Can upset a community or a person. It can change the world.
For 22 years, the Prudential Spirit Community Awards has been honoring excellence in young volunteers. If you would like to learn more, visit spirit.prudential.com.
Mic audio, huh? Yeah, we're gonna trade that in this week.
Hi, this is Martina McBride. When I'm on stage for...
Okay, that was WSN 640.
Reading the scripture and putting people's name in it like this. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son that it came to Jeremiah.
It's sitting there just jumping on its own. I'm watching the meter right now. It's weird. It's just like clicky. It's got some feedback in it. I have a monitor on now. Still not great. That might be a little better. Is that better at all? I'm replacing it this week. I'm going away from the USB mic and I'm actually using an actual USB interface. With a real microphone. All right, let's go to 6:30.
A lady and wanted to teach and help. She hired.
Wait, what? Is that 6:30 the word? Yeah, that's San Antonio. Let's go back and look. Is that 6:30 the That's the word, AM 630, which should be KSLR San Antonio. Yeah, that was KSLR. There's somebody else in there. I don't know if it's Denver or not, but there is someone else in there. So we'll have to do some more flushing out on that one to see if we can get it. So, all right. I've got to get this microphone situation resolved. It's going to bug the hell out of me if I don't do it. So we're going to do that for next week. We're going to work on that. Hopefully have better audio for you guys next week. You know, I'm a perfectionist when it comes to this stuff. So if it's not right, I'm not going to rest until it's done. So my friends, go to the website dxcentralonline.com and make sure you check out the blog post with this week's frequency, 630 to 680. I'm sorry, 660, 630 to 660. The Google form is there for you to do your entries and put your name in the hat for this week's challenge. As many logs as you can get on those two, that frequency range between those two freaks. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you're on our YouTube channel, if you're watching us on Twitch, subscribe there. If you're on Twitter, make sure you're following us there, twitter.com/DXCentral. We're on all these guys. So yeah, we're on Twitter. We're on here on YouTube. We're on Twitch. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/DXCentralOnline. So no matter which of the 4 platforms you're watching us on, we appreciate your support. Just make sure you subscribe. If you're watching us on YouTube, we'd love it if you give us a thumbs up on that one. Hit the like button and leave a comment if you like. That kind of stuff helps us out and gets the channel noticed by YouTube's algorithm. I'm learning a lot of stuff about that here lately. So we can try to get more traction here and get more attention to what we're doing over here. So we thank you, my friends, for your continued support. We're gonna do everything we can to continue to bring you great content. That includes more tips and tricks and how-to videos and DX 101 stuff, in addition to the live stream stuff. So got some antenna work I'll be doing this weekend, so maybe I'll make some videos. If nothing else, make a couple little shorts for that. So be on the lookout for that, and especially if you are subscribed here to the YouTube channel, hit the bell icon to be notified if we do post any of those. Take care, my friends. We're going to wrap it up here for the evening, and we'll see you next week right here on DX Central Live. Best of DX to you, my friends, 73, and we'll see you right here Friday night at 6:45 Central Time, 00:45 UTC for DX Central Live. Best of DX 73. Good luck.
This is DX Central Live.